Welcome back, everybody. Just saw an absolute annihilation as Deer totally crushed Hack. And now Samsung is up 2-0, and Curious is the guy they need to bring it back.
They need him, man. They need him now more than ever. He does have the potential to do it, too. This is a good matchup for him. It's going to be against Reality, so ZVT, I like that a lot. He's currently 3 wins, 4 losses this season. 1-1 against Terran.
He's had a lot of really close games, too. He's played some crazy, crazy late game EVP. And he's really good at playing late games EVP, even though some of the games he played, like versus Hero from Siege Antis, for example, he wasn't able to win. It was like a really close game, really long game, really fun game to watch.
Yeah.
And what's funny about this, to me, is that Reality is also that mech player who's going to play super-duper late game, and like Curious is going to have to play late game possibly against a totally different style this time.
Well, I mean, the one thing that's going for Curious, then, is it is merry-go-round, so I don't think we'll even see mech, and if we do, it's going to be wonky as hell, because no one goes mech on merry-go-round. It's simply too difficult to hold all your bases at once. The third base is way out there, which is kind of why we never see Kratos on this map. It's just so hard to get that third and keep it.
Yeah. I think seeing mech on this map would be totally crazy. We have seen Reality do crazier things in the past, but I'm expecting we see Bio. It would be really funny if Curious has to play his late game Zerg versus Terran, though. All right, guys, it's up to Curious to bring StarTale back into this. Otherwise, Reality is going to make it a clean sweep here. Let's jump into game number 3.
And up here to the top left, we do have StarTale Curious.
The gatekeeper. Down to the bottom in blue for Samsung. It's Reality.
Curious has been looking fantastic in this matchup, in my opinion. Even though he lost his most recent one to Maru, he did look good. And the ones before that, like he definitely looks like he's very well versed in it. He loves to go to the late game with that style of like 4-base middling Bane to try and just kill them. And he does play it on this map also very well. I remember specifically on this map, as a matter of fact. He does really shine against Terran on this map.
He's a great player overall. Like, I feel like Curious is very underrated. And a lot of people look at his record and they say, well, he's actually not doing so well. But like you said, when he lost to Maru, he still looked really good. When he lost to Hero, he looked really good. Like, he was going toe-to-toe with these players, and I feel like if you just look at his stats alone, it doesn't tell you the full story of exactly how skilled this player is.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, is that a gas first? Looks like it.
It is indeed, Wolf. Well spotted, mate. So it will be, looks like it will be very early Hellions. We'll see what else he wants to go with it. No doubt he really means there's going to be a lot of pressure from Reality. If he wants to try like a Hellion run by or a Hellion drop or a Mine drop, it could be anything. It could be, there's a lot of options Terran have, even with this build against the Zerg.
These two look like they have some record held for longest games in Pro League. I think that's for just this season because Reality versus Sulky went like 2 hours and 50 minutes, I think, last season. But for this season, he still has one of the longest games, and Curious has the longest at 2 hours and 21 minutes and 11 seconds. So these guys play long games, like I was, kind of joking about earlier. No, they like to play late game. And they're pretty good at it.
Well, I mean, it's definitely the style that we've always seen from Curious, even in Wings of Liberty. He loved Broodlord Infestor. He'd always go there. And, I mean, against Protoss in this time, like he's loving going Swarmos more than anything else. Against Terran, it's a bit of a different thing. I don't think we've ever seen him go to the late game, going for Ultra Broodlord sort of stuff. He more prefers to stay with the Mutiling Bane style and try and avoid the late game against the Terran composition. But maybe this game will be different.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Reality plays it, too, because I feel like sort of Reality forces games to be long, just based on his style a lot of the time. But if he just ends up playing standard bio here, then we could just see kind of a normal game. There's Stork laughing. Not sure what he's laughing about. Oh, that's so funny, Stork. I mean, you're about to possibly take a 3-0 victory, but don't laugh until it's over.
Don't laugh until it's over, mate. And, this is interesting. We are seeing a reactor on this Rax pretty early on. No factory just yet, though. Wouldn't it be interesting when we just saw Reactor Reaper? Wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be really interesting.
That would be cheeky.
Well, is that what he's doing?
No, he put down a factory, so it's okay.
Okay, I lost a production tab on my screen for just 1 second. I was like, oh, Moonglade the Prophet.
Well, he put it down pretty late. He decided to go for the Reactor Marines, I guess, before then. He's going to get it at 4 Marines before he really has to switch it over to the factory. And then, no doubt, we're going to be making a lot of Hellions.
Yep. And, you know, Reaper just poking around here. Doesn't get any kills. Good micro by Curious on his Lings. And, you know, just things looking pretty standard in general. But a few Marines out early sometimes means that he wants to clear Overlords.
Yeah, well, it stops any sort of scouting early on, which is the one thing. Like, you put a Marine at every edge of the base, and there's no way an Overlord's getting in. You simply deny all scouting. So it could also mean that he has something else planned after this, a pretty powerful follow-up or a pretty all-in-ish sort of follow-up.
Like a Hellbat sort of opening.
Could be Hellbat, could very well be Hellbat, actually, more than anything else. I like that idea. 2 base with a Hellbat, timing attack, can straight up kill Zergs.
Yep, I've seen that a lot in the past.
A lot. Even Life can suffer from it, as we did see in recent times.
Well, you know, Orbital's finishing up right now. He only has 1 gas still. No signs of any armory just yet. Could also be trying to do a Hellion drop, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that feeling. I got that feeling when I did see the gas first. It is pretty good idea with this build. You know, seeing that Medivac very quickly as well. So yeah, he's not going to have an armory in time, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a drop. Could always add an armory. Okay, so there's the armory. So you could just do this drop and be aggressive, and then once the armory finishes, he can transform all the Hellions he's rallied and or, you know, flown over into Hellbats, and then the tempo that you get from this, and then you have the follow-up with the Hellbats is really scary.
Well, he's going to have Marines with this too, right? So it looks like, I think what he's got planned is he's going to pick up the Marines and the Medivac, boost them over, and have about 6 Hellbats at the front, ready to kind of just bulldoze down. We are seeing a Spinecrawler and a Baneling Nest being put down from Curious, but I feel like it's just a little too late. It's going to be a little too late. It's not really going to have enough. He's going to need a lot of Zerglings. He's going to need all his Queens in position, but that Baneling Nest ain't going to be done by the time this comes around.
Yeah, definitely not. It's not even halfway done right now. The spine is done, but that's only 1 spine. I feel like he could have, you know, stood to add some more. Looks like the Marines are just going to fight with this straight up. The armory is about to finish. Oh, it's already finished. Excuse me. There they go. Coming in here. The Queen's trying to do what they can to tank, but with no Banelings just yet. He has to rely on Queens and a spine. 10 more Lings are going to come out here, but this is a lot of Hellbat fire. And look at that. The spine is about to get burst down. There it goes. Baneling Nest, like you said, a bit too late here. There's 2 Lings left on the map, and he can pretty much just ignore them.
Well, only 2 Hellbats left, which is one sort of redeeming thing in this. If he saves all his drones, he can kind of come back, because he is making a crap ton of Lings right now. 16 on the way. But it's going to depend on the positioning, and if he can get a decent surround on these Hellbats.
I feel like a lot of these Lings are dying as they spawn, too, just like these Overlords.
If he blocks the ramp with a couple of Hellbats as well, like the natural is gone.
Yep. And look at this, a few Banelings that he does have morphing. Let's see what he can get done with them. I just don't think anything, to be honest.
No, this is just a swift death, unfortunately. This is one of those painful nightmare deaths that Zerg suffer sometimes, and he finally gets rid of a couple of Hellbats, but guess what? There's still 4 remain. GG.
And I wanna say something about this. The only person to predict reality to win was actually Valdez.
Aha! Nicely done, Valdez. A good choice there, and a great choice of strategy from reality. You know, sticking to his like mech-ish kind of guns. You know, he could have transitioned to bio if he wanted to, if that failed, but very solid sort of timing attack that really catches a lot of Zergs off guard.
I like some of the approaches that we're seeing from these Samsung players, say like Deer and Reality both doing like really technical builds to just throw off their opponents and get into their heads, like you know, abuse the fact that sometimes they play a bit too greedy. Really good reads on their opponent's styles, I feel, and just really good execution. Really impressive day from Samsung in general. I'm liking it, and this is really good for them because actually with a +3 indicator with the 3-0, they're going to jump up pretty high. I think they're going to get second with this.
Wow.
So that's and not only second, but like significantly ahead of the other teams that are at 2-1 right now.
Yeah, very convincing series there. Really came out in force. They knew they had to win this one. A very important match for them. And a lot of fun. Even though it was a 3-0, still a lot of fun.
For StarTale, this is a really bad situation for their points. Like, they're going to be 0-3 with -5. They're going to be below Prime. And the only way that Prime will not